Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody had a lovely week. And with that being said, let's prepare for the upcoming week. Alright guys, so we are going to kick it off with the indices. We're going to start off here on the weekly time frame with QQQ. We're going to cover QQ, SPY, IWM, DIA. We'll cover VIX. Then we will cover some of the FANG stocks. Then we cover the chip stocks. Then we got Bitcoin right after that and the Bitcoin miner stocks. And then we have a whole crap ton of trade ideas coming straight from your boy over here. Okay, so at the end of the video, we will have Henry's trade ideas and tickers that I think are worth taking a look at right now and keeping on your radar. We got some juicy ones. Stay tuned for those. All right. Now, we're going to kick it off here with QQ's weekly chart. And guys, I am just going to point out, what the heck is this thing? All right. What the heck is this thing? We've just broken up to another high. You have another big breakout going on. The thing doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Let's talk about it. Okay. Over here, guys, you had your break and retest and you went on your way. You had this little range. You broke out of that range. You had, a big way to go. You just had this other little range develop and you just broke out of that. I understand it was off decreasing volume here. We had 1.5 days less this week than the normal 5-day trading session. Okay, so keep that one in mind. This volume would actually be right next to this previous volume candlestick right there if that were not the case. And honestly, maybe we could have pushed up higher if we had an extra day. Okay, that would have been quite crazy. Regardless, guys, $500 incoming on QQQ. That is the target we put on the board the other day, and that is the target that I'm going to stick with. $500 incoming over here on QQQ. Come down to the daily time frame. You do see we closed out Friday with increasing volume on this wide-bodied green bar. You had a % of range on the day. All right, followed by the increasing volume shows that buyers are supporting the move up. They are looking for further upside. And I'm just telling you guys, now that it's this close to 500, there's no reason we're not going to go tap that $500 psych level. We went to the next SPY psych level, which was 555. And guess what, guys? QQ is about to do the same thing. And it's about to head to $500. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. Let's just say we do, turn down here because, in reality, guys, we have a sick, nasty freaking divergence forming. All right, caution in the waters. Caution in the waters, ladies and gents. All right, I understand I'm getting y'all all hyped about this look. Guess what? It's time to proceed with caution for the time being because this thing, let's. All right, let's take a step back, guys. All right, let's just look at it this way. This thing could keep skyrocketing, but this thing also has the same thing that, just time and time again has told us, guys, we're looking for consolidation or a pullback. We're now going to be looking for that consolidation or pullback. So if you start to range out here for a little while, don't be surprised. Let's talk about some levels that we're going to be paying attention to if you do decide to pull back. I'm not sure if you're going to pull back right away. We have the thing that suggests, yeah, you either consolidate or pull back right away. We have that thing. All right, the condition is very clearly here. You got the same looking SPY right now as well, and a lot of other charts, okay? But guess what? All right, this looks like this. This looks massive, okay? This thing is an explosion. It doesn't look like, judging by this weekly candlestick we just printed, this thing wants to slow down right now, all right? You want to go a little higher and then maybe consolidate or pull back. That's what it looks like to me, all right? Since you started your first divergence over here, you've kind of just grinded up higher. A whole $3, guys. We could do that again. All right, the RSI is now lower than it was over here. We could do that again. And you could very well head to 500 before we see any of this actually play out. I want to see this thing start coming back down, though. I want to see it reset. I'm not sure if it's going to, come with just flat price action between like a $5 range, or we actually see that $5 to $10 pullback. And guys, at that point, you're just going to come here and then boom, you're going to find buyers again. We're going higher. All right, guys, don't deny it, baby. We going higher. We're going higher. Okay, you could see what's happening. We have so many charts that I'm about to show you that suggest, yes, guys, it's just up the wazoo. It's coming in from all sides here. Okay, the market is about to be driven higher. There's no denying it. All right, I will show you in this video. But on the downside, all right, guys, we're paying attention to 491.17. All right, it's going to be the high of this candlestick right there, 491.17. This is before you gapped up. And then underneath there, we have 486.86. I'm just saying, low odds of you just coming straight back down here after having this aggressive move. But if you do, dang right, you expect buyers on that move. It's going to be a big weekly and daily retest. So that is that. On the upside, $500 psych level. On the downside, 491.17 and 486.86. I understand those are quite a way, guys. We have built absolutely no structure behind, like, along this whole move. The only thing I could really point out here on the 15-minute time frame is going to be 494.34. All right. Other than that, I mean, you got this low to go off of. You have this low to go off of. But, you know, chump change. Chump change. You're just chopping it up at that point. We're talking about the big moves if they come, okay? So, in reality, underneath 494.34, you look for 491.17. Underneath 491.17, you look for 486.86. And that is that. Obviously, there's going to be, you know, little levels that you know, if you're intraday trading, you definitely should be paying attention to these. They're going to bring people in, all right? But in reality, you know, you're looking at the big picture like we talk in these videos. You don't need them. You don't need them cluttering your mind or the charts. Above here, guys, $500 psych level. All right. SPY, weekly time frame, same exact look. All right. Same exact look. You had this little break and retest over here, this consolidation, 4 weeks of consolidation. Well, it was like 3 weeks and then you broke up in that 4th week. Okay. But yeah, you have the same exact thing going on over here. Maybe, you know, give or take one less week. That's fine. Okay. Either way, same psychology. You had bears stepping up. They had their chance just like they had their chance over there. And bulls still just, you know, rampaged them, plowed right over them. Okay. And guess what? What does that lead? That leads to further upside. That's what happens there. They had their chance. They had their setup. They folded on their setup. Now they're going to wait for the next setup. And it's not just yet. Okay. This is a fresh breakout. This is 2 weeks of consolidation. If you're really just going to take SPY's range here, top to bottom, $7.50, right? $7.50, guys. We're going to 5.60. All right. So 560 is the next psychological target that I'm going to put on the board over here of SPY. Last one I put was 555. You went to 555.05. That's where you topped out for the day. And then you started getting sellers stepping in. Again, guys, I'm going to remind you the same thing I did over there on QQ. We talked about on Friday's update, okay? But guess what? Massive amounts of bearish divergence going on here. Quadruple bearish divergence. That is a reason for caution. I understand the weekly chart looks like that and the daily chart looks like that. And you're like, let me just long into this. You could do whatever your sweetheart desires. You're probably going higher on Monday. You have a wide-bodied green bar here. All right, a $3 move, $3 range on the day, supported by your volume. All right, buyers clearly want to keep pushing it up. They are fully in control. We're not talking about they're starting to gain control, a reversal setup. We're talking continuation up the wazoo is how this thing is looking. I'm going to show you the major components of these indices, and they're looking quite freaky. Okay, you like some freaky things? I'm going to show you some freaky things in these charts. Okay. Pull back into 550.12. You expect buyers there. Let's just point out another level in between there because I know, guys, that's, you know, $4. That's a whole percent. We're talking there. What's the level that stands out to me over here on the 15-minute time frame? 552.78 on the downside. You lose 552.78. You got nothing supporting you in between there and 550.12. I take it back. You kind of have this spot right here at 551.18. But again, if you're just, you know, someone who's looking for that big picture, you're not trying to trade the intraday price action, you're just trying to take your swing entries and stuff like that, then you don't care about it. Just know 552.78, you lose that level, you're probably coming all the way down here to 550.12 for an all-time high breakout retest. And from that point, you very likely do get buyers. We probably will have the same thing happen right here where you know, range out above that, build a base, and then launch off of that base. That is that. Okay. On the upside, I just went over why I do think we're going to make it to 560, 750, $7.50 worth of range right here. All right. You've now broke above that. We're looking for an equivalent move. All right. That's typically how we see these ranges go. You get an equivalent move. All right, if you really just want to see it, right there. Get mad, buddy. There you go. I hate this ad text thing. All right, right up there around 560. And you know what? I understand it's 558 to 559, but if you get the 558, do you really not think you're going to hit the psych level of 560? I don't. I think you're definitely going to go right up there. All right, so that's that. So an SPY on the upside, we're watching for 560 to be hit this week. Again, you have the weekly candlestick here suggesting like it wants further upside. Okay, let's look at it this way. The range on this candlestick was 12 bucks. Give us, 40% of that. We're going to be at 560, 45% of it. Okay, just to really sum things up on SPY before moving forward to IWM. On the upside, you watch 560. On the downside, you watch 552.78. And underneath there, you watch for 550.12. All right. If things get really crazy and you break under there, and we don't have time for an update in between them. Okay. If this all happens on Monday and you don't see a video updating you, this is what you're paying attention to on the downside. 547.30 down to 545.20. That's going to be where your golden pocket is. If you can't hold 550.12, you're coming for 547. All right, that's that, which, a specific level that I see that pays that, stands out to me that I'll pay attention to. 546.51. There's that. I'm going to take it off for the time being because, I think this level is going to be respected with, right there, 14 days of consolidation. You just broke out. I don't think the breakout's going to only last 2 days. We've been here before, ladies and gents. We're here again, and that is that. Okay, that's SPY for you. Moving on to IWM. I'm still just going to remind everyone, all right, the setup is coming. It's coming together, but it's not here yet. Okay, you have this big downtrend here. Whenever that does break out, that is when this thing is going to look extremely sexy. Okay, let's look at it this way. You have all of these market participants watching this one trend line right there, just one downtrend, clear as day. All right, you established it on this one right here. You have large amounts of sellers stepping right here. They really shoved you all the way down to a new low. So sellers are motivated when it comes to this trend line, all right? Right here they did so. Right here they did so. They didn't bring you down to new low, but you could very clearly see they pop and shove you right where they need to, all right? Call it a pop, shove it off this. This is your skateboard right here, this little downtrend, all right? Regardless, guys, you come back up to it, you expect sellers, okay? That's also going to be in the golden pocket from that move. From, this impulsive move, like right here. You see what I'm saying? All right. It's going to be right there at that downtrend. That's what you pay attention to. There's nothing to concern yourself on this, in my personal opinion. All right. Your long entry. All right. Nothing to concern yourself with unless you see this thing start hitting this alert down here. Then you start, if you're like me, you're going to start accumulating your long position. All right. And then you're going to sell in these pops and maybe you get it real quick again. And then we're going to sell on that pop. Okay. But I have a strong feeling that, around the corner, we have something like that loading, all right, where you really do break a downtrend. Okay, you want to see where this downtrend was broken. Freaking magnet. Freaking magnet, buddy. What are you doing, man? There we go. I got chart rage. You know what road rage is, all right? I got chart rage. That's that. Okay, guys, you saw that, downtrend break over there. You saw what it led to. Led to $15 move, $12 move, okay? Well, imagine if you break this guy and you get a 12. People are going to lose their crap, okay? If you see IWM break above this high over here, they're going to start calling for all-time highs incoming right away, all right? It can happen, but, it's going to take some time. But if you can break above this, that's, structurally speaking, this is going to look so freaking sexy if you could take out this high here, okay? Because that high, in reality, was right there, that high, okay? High right here, 211.88. Well, over here, it's 212.25. You take out this high, you take out resistance from, how long ago is this? Guys, that's over 2 years. That's 2.2, 2.3 years right there, okay? You take this out, things are going to get spicy. You're probably coming straight up there to 220, 227.13. All right. Is that accurate? Yeah, it is 227.13. I love having my magnet. When I put that, if you see my lines sometimes and they don't line up exactly right there, it's because I didn't discover the magnet tool in TradingView yet, which I really, I knew it was there. I just found it really annoying. And I was like, how do people chart with that thing on? Now I see how they chart with that thing on. Okay. Point is, IWM not looking bad at all. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, right here, you're consolidating. You're getting ready to launch. All right, this is the base we just talked about on another ticker. Okay, on SPY. Guess what? This is doing it on the weekly time frame. Wait for it to break up. It's going to get explosive, guys. It's going to be quite crazy. Okay, but yeah, short term, you're just watching this downtrend. Who was spamming my phone? Holy jeez Louise, guys. Kevin Mogul, I love you. You are liking every single thing all at once. I got to turn these notifications off, guys. Boom, boom, boom. If you guys are not already on the Twitter, I will give a quick little plug. That is me. Those are my pups. And if you would like to come see all of these charts, okay, every single weekend, I will do ticker requests and I will do those tickers. And I will post those in a timely manner throughout Saturday into Sunday. Today I did it all in one go, all on Saturday. We'll see. We probably will get a lot more. And then I will do some more. But for the time being, here you are. If you would like to go request a ticker, go just hit the link down below. Follow me over there. And then, yeah, just come to the post, wherever that post is. I'll pin it right now. I'll pin it just for you guys. See, this is what I'm saying. There's too much going on here. So many freaking tickers, okay? This is what you can expect. You can expect some preparation going into the upcoming week. Because now we know what the whole community, well, not the whole community, right? But the people who are willing to comment, we know what they're watching. And then I can, you know, expand my reach here. And I can look at some more charts that I wasn't even looking at. All right. I will just do that. Pin to your profile because we had a freaking chart storm. If you guys want to be a part of the chart storm, though, link is down below over on the Twitter. And throughout the week, guys, I will just, you know, throw in some trade ideas. Recently, I have actually just only been showing the Discord love. I haven't really been posting too much of my own stuff over on Twitter, just doing these ticker requests. And yeah, I do some trade ideas, but we got, you know, we got some juicy things. I'll give you some juicy trade ideas in today's video, all right? I got one specifically that's looking really freaking primed for a big move. So we're going to take a look at that one, okay? Moving on, though, to DIA. DIA, guys, you guys could see my beautiful drawing right here. You got a bull pennant going on. This is your little flagpole. You break up from this thing, you probably are coming up to the high. DIA is about to be on the move again after looking like crap. All right, I told you. It was looking like poop. I was just saying, hey, best not to touch it. I still say don't touch it because option chain is, you know, a piece of garbage over here. Spreads are going to be really wide because of thin traded volume. And yeah, you know, not ideal. But I will also let you know when it's starting to look primed. All right, it was primed back down here. It was primed down here. I let you guys know about it. I think I told you guys it was on one of these days. It said downsize limited. Actually, I could tell you when that was right now. This day. This day right here. It was this day right here. Why? Because you got into the golden pocket. That's why Henry told you downside was limited. You also had, I think it was the hourly RSI just looking beyond oversold. It was like, that's crazy, okay? Regardless, guys, you got your bounce. You know, we told you how it was looking over here. If you pulled into the golden pocket, there's that. All right, and now I'm going to tell you right now, you got a big old bull pennant going on here. And this is like 1.5, 2 weeks of consolidation. This is, yeah, 1.5, almost 2 weeks of consolidation here. Okay, you break up from this thing could get spicy. Probably going to come straight for 396.50, above 396.50. 401 is incoming. But on the weekly chart, guys, this thing does look like it is, it's itching to go a little higher there. That is that. Mr. VIX, guys, you did get a little spicy into the end of the day over here on Friday, all right? So you did end up getting that little bounce, okay? You ended the day with a hammer candlestick, even though you have SPY looking like this. VIX is looking like this. I told you what I was seeing on the 15-minute RSI and SPY and QQ. I told you, hey, yes, the thing is going higher. We know it's going higher from the looks of it, okay? Like, just psychology-wise, the sellers that were trying to just, you know, accumulate their spring, they got trampled over and their spring broke. And the buyers decided, nope, we're going to use your energy against you. And we're going to explode this bad boy up. I'm telling you, sellers had their shot. They just had to take out this low. You couldn't freaking do it. You couldn't do it. So the buyers said, we're going to take all this energy that you were accumulating, use it against you. We're going to go up. So we know this thing's very likely going to continue higher. But what we do also know is 15-minute RSI has these things up the wazoo. Okay? This thing literally, I'm telling you guys, I've been doing this for quite some time now. And when you got that look, it typically does lead to consolidation or your decent pullback there, right? You know, we're in an extreme bull market. The thing wants to keep going up. You could have bought in every single dip for quite some time now. And if you just had no expiration date, you would be so up, okay? Or if you had, you know, months out, you'd be so up. Why? Because the thing wants to keep going higher. We're in the bull market, okay? But what I can tell you is when this happens, it is not time to just be buying into fresh highs. It's time to wait for things to set up. Okay, so wait for, you don't have to do anything. But you know what? If I was speaking to myself, I would say, Henry, wait for things to set up. Patience pays. All right. You remember that. Patience pays because it literally does. Let's look at it this way. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're seeing this and you're like, oh, it can go higher and I'll be up this amount if it reaches there. Okay. But then it comes back down here. Okay, it comes back down, and maybe from your being up 80%, maybe you're only up 20% now. You're like, crap. And you're like, I could have literally taken the same exact, I could have taken profits at the 80% and could have taken the same exact freaking position down there at the same price I entered at and ran it back, and it would have been double the money now. All right. Have you ever been in that situation? Because I know I have. All right. And I'll actually tell you, in the crypto market, I find myself in this position so freaking often. So often. Most recently with this TRW coin. There were three times that I see this thing just go up. All right. And you're just up a massive amount. All right. I don't do a lot in crypto. Okay. But I'll definitely say $100 into like $500. I was really proud of it. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So I took profits. All right. And then I FOMO'd right back into it when it dropped like 10 cents. And I was like, no freaking way. And then it came back down. All right. And then it came all the way back down to like 70 cents. And now I'm like, you know, you could have just ran it back instead of just waiting on this home run. Okay. So there's that. And that happens all the time in the options market. So if you are an active options trader, okay, I'm just letting you know this scenario is going to take place. And when you see things like this, you take profit, you just kind of wait and sit on the sidelines. Okay? I was just doing a crap ton of back testing all morning, and I could tell you for a fact, all right, you had so much opportunity on just 5 tickers. All right, NVDA, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. That's what I was missing. All right. I did a crap ton of back testing on those 5 tickers. All right. And they have 3 setups that even just one of these daily time frame setups. All right. These clean downtrend breaks. It's so simple. Okay. You had 41 occurrences over the last year to trade that. You had an average of 4 times to trade that each month on these 5 tickers. 4 times. 4 times. One setup. One downtrend break setup. Across these. We're talking clean. Just downtrend. Okay? And then boom. Downtrend. And then boom. Like same thing as pretty much this. Okay? You had this setup to go off of on those tickers. 5 tickers. 41 times in 1 year. Okay? Go find 2 more setups, and you're going to have over 100 setups that took place over that 1 year that you could have just pounced on. But you have to be ready to pounce. You can't just be, you know, sitting here hoping. Okay? So I know I just went through a little, what do I want to call this? All right. Because you guys aren't students and I'm not a teacher. I'm just a guy making these videos. All right. Well, I will just say I sprinkled on some education there. Right. And if you've been trained long enough, you know that's exactly how it goes. So just, you know, be ready for these things, guys. This thing doesn't lead to further upside right away. It could. All right. But it probably doesn't. Just go back and go find a spot where you danced around up here. What happened down here? All right. This looks like, where even was it? Okay. You took all this time up here. What happened? All right. You're consolidating all here. It was nothing. Okay. You ran in, You ran it up on a divergence here, it looks like. You got the divergence going, and then you pulled back. That is a percent pullback. That's a $5 pullback. What if we get the $5 pullback right now? It comes into the perfect spot. So this is why I'm saying, guys, I think we're about to get another opportunity here. I think it's going to be a pullback opportunity into this 550.12 level. And yeah, all right. I think that's the next big one right here. So there's that. Moving on, guys. I know we started that little thing, that little warning, Henry's warning. Okay, Henry's time to be cautious warning, I guess we can call it, because of Mr. VIX over here. Well, when you got what I just showed you over there in SPY, and when you got this, you could tell, you know, things are happening behind the scenes that don't lead to much further upside right away. We probably get a bounce over here on VIX. Look for a bounce up to 1347 on VIX, top of the range. Then we could see if it sells off again or if it's actually going to break out. If it breaks out, we get a bigger pullback to play on SPY. But you're probably not going to break out because VIX has, you know, been very suppressed for quite some time here. And, you know, it doesn't want to move freely. It just wants to stay in this range. There's that. Moving on to the big boys. All right. I told you guys, largest components of these things, they want to be driven higher, baby. They want to be driven way higher. Amazon, $200. You hit the target last week. Now you've hit it again. Guess what? 206 incoming on Mr. Amazon. Guys, this is a fresh all-time high breakout after 3 years. 3 years. Is the weekly chart. That's 1,077 days. That is 3 years of you just like not breaking this level, okay? You even came back to it half a year later and you rejected. And then you came back to it, you know, 1,015 days later. And then, you know, you hit it with, you know, another month later, you rejected from that same level. And then another 2 months later, you rejected from the same level. And then boom, the next week you break out. And now the thing is up, you know, $12 from that breakout. This thing's going higher. The thing wants 206 and it wants 215 in the end. 220 psych level is probably also incoming. Amazon is about to be driven higher. All right. You see this base? We talk about this a lot because, guys, the market doesn't move straight up. It's continuously searching for liquidity in order to have these continuous moves. All right. You can't drive prices higher until you have a market auction for the lower prices that you just surpassed. You surpassed the prices, you came back for the market auction. You surpassed this price, you moved up to the next spot to have a market auction right here. This is just what I call these things, supply and demand. All right. If you look at things like that, it'll be a much clearer picture. I guarantee it. Supply and demand zones. Right here, it's a supply zone. You moved above it. You got above it. You came back to test it because you had your market auction. You came back above it because you had more buy orders than sell orders. You were expecting there to be sell orders, but what happened? No, there were more buy orders, so price got above it. But in order to confirm it, that price was being accepted above this zone, all right, accepted at these prices up here, you had to come back and you had to test it. You had to have a market auction of who's actually in control here. Was this a false breakout or not? All right. Well, as it turns out, you did confirm that, yeah, bulls were in control. You had more buy orders in here. So then you went and had the next natural course of action. You ran up to the next place where you're going to have that market auction, that next supply zone. All right. And if you want to really put that on your chart, it would be right here. What happens at the supply zone? You rejected from the supply zone and you now have sell orders, more sell orders sitting right here than buy orders. No surprise there because you were expecting sell orders in the supply zone. Okay, what happened then? You came back, you rejected here, you had your market auction, you came back to the last logical place to have that auction. All right, you now have a demand zone. Okay, now you have a very clear, defined range in between your supply and your demand zone. And you just kept dancing around for like weeks, months here. 3 months? Yeah, that's 4 months, guys. And now you're getting that breakout. This thing's going to 220. All right. Yeah, I'm a permabull. That's fine by me. That's fine. We're in a bull market. We'll just keep winning in the bull market. That's how we do. All right. Microsoft. Same exact thing, guys. Major component here. Actually, the largest component of SPY and QQ right here. And yeah, what do we have? We have a wide-bodied green bar. It's not accompanied by increasing volume, but if you had that extra day and a half, I can almost guarantee that volume bar is going to be right up here, and it's not going to be looking so bad. This thing wants to go higher. Come over here to Apple. Do I need to say anything more? You had 2 weeks of range here, 2.5 weeks of range. You just broke above it. Sellers clearly just getting their chances. They're not taking them. All right, they're not taking them. You even had the false breakdown underneath the 9. Had the same thing right there, same thing right there, guys. This is a pattern we got to keep in mind. False break up above the 9, then you got sucked back. False break up above the 9, then you got sucked back down. All right. Apple loves you know, in that the list of 5 tickers that I was telling you guys, I was doing some back tests on 3 strats this morning. Guess what? Apple, I decided to completely take off this list because I will not trust my money with Apple. All right. I'm just going to, you know, be blatantly clear about that one. Okay, guys. I didn't put it on my main list with my main 3 setups. Why? Because yes, it's the largest component over here. Well, it was until this year. And then, you know, we had everything else just plowed by Apple. You have Microsoft. Amazon is now catching up. You got NVIDIA that went above it for a little. Now it's back underneath. Okay. Yeah, the thing's caught up to Mr. Apple quite a bit over here. Okay. But yeah, Apple has way more fake outs than any of the other ones. The other ones have very clean price action. All right. You get a, you know, just a bunch of these signals. They don't, you know, sometimes mean something, the other times, no, it's gonna freaking not care about it. No. All right. They mean something on the other tickers where I could tell you, all right, doesn't really matter what you're looking at. No matter what signal you try and, you know, get from this chart, it's going to be bipolar as heck. I was trying it earlier and it's not worth it. All right. So keep that one in mind when you're trading Apple over here. If you have a good time, hey, keep having a good time. I'm all for it. Okay. Increasing volume on the day, fresh breakout on Wednesday session with the continuation off that increasing volume. Thing wants to be driven higher. That is that. Next cycle level is going to be 230. If you're really just going to take this range, okay, top to bottom, that's like $36. Okay, we still have another $10 to go. 235 is my psychological target over there on Apple. All right, it's just a target in general, right? But it will be a psych level, a nice round number. Well, it's not round, but it's yeah, it's right in the middle. You guys know what I mean. It's right in the middle. It's the $5 number. I like it. All right, GOOG. Oh, what happens? Looks like buyers want to drive it higher. What the heck are we seeing? What are we seeing, guys? All right. Are we about to freaking run here? This reminds me of the meta chart, with all honesty. And speaking of meta, congrats, you played the break and retest off of there. Congrats. Okay. You know, if it was going to come down to 480, 250, that would have been great. But as you saw buyers stepping in over here. I didn't play it, but I know we talked about it. Came down here, swept the range. Okay, the bottom of the range, and printed his hammer. That's pretty sexy. Okay. What happened then? You had the bullish engulfing candlestick. That's also pretty sexy. You didn't get your confirmation that day. You got the confirmation on this day. From here, guys, we have a whole new setups over here on Meta. And by that, I just mean we're watching for the new one. Break and retest off of 523.86 to 531.49 demand zone. All right, so that was your breakout zone. Previous all-time highs at 531.49. Honestly, guys, this very well could not test this. I'm going to be straight up with how this thing is looking and the movement we saw. A $30 freaking move on one day on Meta. That's a big deal. Okay, big deal. This thing's probably coming up to the next cycle level of 550 and then 560. That's, you know, if I had to take a guess, that's where I think this thing is headed. And that's just that. All right, I do think that is where this thing is headed. But as I said with the other major components, guys, the market wants to be driven higher, and that is that. There's nothing you could do about it, nothing I could do about it, all right? Market wants to be driven higher, and let's just let it be, all right? Let's let it be. So those are the main components, all right? Those are the FANG stocks that are going to be driving this market up higher. Now we're going to take a look at chips, all right? Chip stocks are actually taking a little breather on Friday, okay? You do not just, you know, bust up like I thought, you know, was looking likely. I thought, you know, this thing just wants to go right through this golden pocket. Yes, it does. Nope. Sellers still ended up stepping in here. Okay. So you expect sellers between 270.50 and 274.50. Above 274.50, we have 279.57 likely incoming. All right. To me, guys, these things still look like here on the weekly chart, they want to freaking blast off. You came back the same liquidity, you know, defining liquidity whole what do you even call that example I was giving earlier? I don't know, concept. All right, Brain fart, Henry, all right? Concept, the whole continuously finding liquidity or sweeping for liquidity, that concept, this kind of represents exactly what I was talking about, all right? Right here, weekly structure. You broke above the weekly structure. You came back down to have the market auction. That's exactly what I was just talking about. It's right here. And it's on like pretty much everything we talk about here on this channel. You're going to continuously find that concept in everything I talk about, okay? Guess what? You did the same thing over here. You got above it. You came back to retest it. Oh, guess what? You got above this next one. Came back to retest it, okay? Got above this one right here. You came back to retest it, okay? It always happens. Just, you know, get used to it. Get used to it happening. Right here, we could point out the same exact thing. Got above it, you came back to retest it 3 weeks later. There you go. Same thing over here. Got above it, okay? You came back to test it. Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks later. This thing continuously does it. There was a time when chips just wanted to go straight up. So we got to keep that in mind. It doesn't always work, but you know, a lot of the times that's how things go unless you're in a parabolic move. SMH looks like it wants to continue higher. Just my personal opinion. And that's that. NVIDIA, guys. Another week of consolidation over here on NVIDIA. Big move is loading over here on the NVIDIA. And yes, I do say it funny. I know it's NVIDIA. I know. I'm going to say, or no, it's NVIDIA. How do we say it right, guys? Is it NVIDIA or NVIDIA? I'm going to call it NVIDIA just because, you know, it sounds like that would be. I see what you guys are saying. I add the I in there, and you're supposed to go N to the V. NVIDIA. And I say NVIDIA. I don't care. I'm going to keep saying NVIDIA. It's easy. It rolls off the tongue, and maybe we'll start a movement. Definitely not in our small little corner of YouTube. There's that. I'm actually going to remind you guys, hey, if you are enjoying the weekly update here, our preparation into next week, please remember to leave a like. It would definitely boost the channel. And I see a humongous, you know, reach difference if the engagement is up on the videos. Like, we will just reach a lot more people. So please remember to do that if you do appreciate these videos. And I very much so appreciate you. Okay. The video over here, guys, false breakout above this level over here, above the 128.18, 128.12 level. You did have the daily close above it by, you know, what is that, 16 cents over here. And then guess what? You fell flat and you came right back into the range. Now, to me, on the hourly time frame, it looks like this level is kind of set in stone over here. It's happening, okay? 124.71, that is what I would say to pay attention to. All right, let's just say that doesn't hold. Okay, what are you going to be paying attention to there? 123 to 124. That's where the golden pocket is going to be. If you come down and you see a 1 hour hammer candlestick with a long, you know, lower wick here, that wicks, you know, the body starts right over here around 124.71. You see it wick down to 124, and then it recovers and it holds right here and closes out as a hammer, something like that right here. All right, something like that, something like that. All these little hammers. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you see that. You know, you could be setting up to revisit the top of the range. So that would be you know, a little $4 move there for you. There you go, $3 to $4 move around there. Okay, so that is the video over here. AMD explosions. They came and they're gonna probably keep coming, guys. I understand you stalled out at our 172.49 target. I'm so happy that it finally hit it. I could stop saying it. Okay, guys, we've had so much freaking consolidation out of here, and I thought it was ready from this time. All right, I thought you were going to start running back up. You never decided to come back up. You fell a little short there. And then you came right back down to where you ran from, all right, or bounced from. And then you decided to hit it with the stick, all right, right here with the breakout. And then 2 days later, well, actually, it was 3 days later. Yes, 3 days later, you hit it with another stick, came right up into it. Now you're getting sellers stepping up to the 172.49 resistance. That's where you broke down from. So previous support flipped into resistance. You can clearly see that's where we were expecting sellers. Same concept I was just talking about. All right, you break out, you go to the next obvious market auction spot. Okay, and that's up here. That is definitely a little term that this little terminology that I came up with. Do not try and look that up because you're probably not going to find. I mean, hey, if other people are using that concept and that's what they call it, then hey, all right, that's cool. All right, we're thinking like other people, but yeah, no, it's definitely not a concept that I would say is going to be spoke about. If you want to really learn about it, just supply and demand. That's what the books are going to be about. That's what the videos are going to be about. Support and resistance / supply and demand. I say just look at everything as supply and demand. Okay, and yeah, you'll be thinking the right way. Either way, increasing volume on this bad boy, wide green body bar. You do know sellers were taking positions into the close right there off of resistance. But, all right, but if I had to guess, this thing is going to take out 177.50, and above there, you're coming straight to 183.02 to 187.24. That is where I think you're headed right up here. Okay, SMCI, guys, I'm going to repeat the same thing I posted on Twitter earlier. This thing's getting ready for a big move. All right, I'm just going to make my call. You had 2 months of downtrend right here, followed by 2 months of consolidation right here. The thing is getting ready for a really big move. It could break down, and at that point, it's going to die. All right, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I do believe this is strong, fundamentally strong company, a strong fundamental company. I could have said either or. I tried saying both at the same time. It didn't work out. All right, regardless, guys. Strong fundamentals on the company. 4 total months of consolidation. I think this thing is getting ready for another leg up. I think we got a catalyst right around the corner, okay? I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be all the way over here into earnings and that shoots you up. But I think something's probably right around the corner that's going to break this thing up. And from that point, you're going to come up to 1,106. And then you're going to take that out and you're going to come to 1229. All right? 1229, I do think. All right, someone asked me to put a time frame on this. Guys, just know these things, I have absolutely no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. I remember when I, first started making these updates, one of my sayings was like, oh, I'll look at my crystal ball. Or so I'd say something like that. And it was a big thing on the channel. Guess what, guys? I have no crystal ball at all. Nobody has a crystal ball out there. We can tell you, all right, is you got 8 months of consolidation here. No, not 8 months. That's wrong. 4 months, 4 to 5 months of consolidation, because it has been quite a bit of time here. Okay, yeah, 4 months of consolidation here. It's getting ready for a big move. The only way we know that big move is going to actually come is when it gets to either the apex. Okay, so it would be right here by end of July. We should know, or if it actually breaks out, it's going to break this uptrend or it's going to break this downtrend. One or the other is going to happen. That's the only time we know when the move's coming. Okay? So just know when you ask these questions, okay? Just like refrain from doing so because we don't know. All right? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody freaking knows. But we can clearly see, okay, we have 2 months of consolidation. You get to the apex, which is like 1 month away. It's going to be within 1 month, we know. From that point, this move could take, 2 to 4 weeks for all I know. Time frame, realistically speaking, within 2 to 3 months. But, does anybody care about that? That's still pretty accurate right there. But does anybody care about that? No, they want to hear like, oh, what week we doing? No. Okay, guys, within 2 to 3 months, you probably do get up here. Within 1 month, we find out if we break up or down from this pennant. That is how the thing works, okay? TSM, new all-time high incoming next week. That is that. This thing does not look like it's just going to pop up here and then stall out. If it pulls back, that's a buying opportunity in my personal opinion. I will be watching 176.06 for a move like that. Let's look at it this way. This would be a massive double top if it actually were to happen. You have such a long... This is a massive range here. And then you break down from that and you expect another 9% below that. And you're coming all the way down here. You see 157? You see 183? They're not close to each other. They're 16 to 17% away from each other. Another 15% away from each other, okay? That's probably not happening. Okay, so just using context clues here on that this price has already came back here and you have a massive range. If this is going to turn into double top, you have a 10%, top to neckline on the double top. It's probably not going to play out. You pull back, you buy that pullback. You don't have to do anything. No financial advice will be given on this channel. I'm just speaking to me, That's the plan. MU, the thing looks like it's going to revisit 125.50. Okay, I think we're about to get another chance to run it back. Congrats if you did end up playing this move right there. Congrats if you got a better entry and you played a whole $10 move instead of just this normal $6 move. Okay, congrats. But you might get another shot to run it back. At that point, guys, it's 4-hour RSI might get oversold, and I think it's set up for a major buying opportunity. One of those really safe ones that I was saying. Okay, that is just how I see things. Those are the chips. Let's talk about some Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin, guys, on the move. It's on the move. We talked about 2 scenarios over here on the bit of corn. Okay, 2 scenarios. One was you broke above here and you ran straight up here. Okay, that would have made miners go crazy. What happened instead? You came back down. All right, we had 2 scenarios. There was one. The other scenario went like this. Okay, went like, I put it right under there. So we're going to say right there. And then you went up. Okay, I put it right there because it's right under here. That's where I had it. I did not have it all the way down here. I will admit that. That has fallen, you know, a good chunk more than I thought was going to be on the table. But what I will say, all right, is we were prepared. All right, we talked about this opportunity if it were to come. We talked about it extensively. CLSK, Coin, Mara, all right, all of the miners, all of them. If you wanted Mester, if you wanted this guy right here, okay, Mike. Yeah, I just talk about tickers, guys, all right? I know there's names to the companies. That's why I pronounce NVIDIA how I pronounce it. NVIDIA sounds really weird to me, all right? NVIDIA, that rolls off the tongue. It's just, I'm reading the ticker, guys. I look at these tickers all day long, all right? This thing looks sexy, but we'll start off with the big guy, with the beast, okay? You came down to support. You put in a hammer candlestick. You got a bullish divergence. Intraday, this daily RSI was the morning, actually, was down at 2250. That's why the blue line is there. That's typically when you bounce. It was pretty safe to say we're probably going to be bouncing unless you're seeing an actual Bitcoin crash that comes like that. And then you get a massive buying opportunity. And you're just like, hey, all right, let me take half of everything I own. Let me put it all on black here. All right. We're not talking Bitcoin. We're talking shorter term, you know. Well, I mean, at that point, if it's a large sum, I typically, I will get nervous if it's in shorter dated cons. Even though I know the move's right there, I will definitely get nervous. So, you know, I know myself 1 to 2 months out, anything, that's really what you're looking for when you're making those big purchases right there. All right. Regardless, came down, swept the low, held support, printed a hammer candlestick off of extremely heavy volume. And now you're getting the fall through the following day. This thing looks like it's going to come back up. Wait for a break of this 9 EMA. I understand you got the false break above right there. Okay, false breakout. You fell right back. I don't think this one's going to be a false breakout. You get above 59313. Okay, it's the low of this candlestick right there. You get above that level, that's when you're probably just going to come straight up to 63794. That is probably going to make all of these things go right back up to their highs and maybe a little more. People are going to get real bullish on these things, okay? Imagine that, all right? Now, you already caught that. You already caught that big boy. But imagine you catch that guy, all right? And that is, you know, the super safe opportunity that we were talking about, that we were preparing about in case Bitcoin were to open up down here. And what happened on the week? You opened, well, not on the week, but on Friday, because we had the day off of the actual markets. There you go. Okay, you're about to rip faces, it looks like. If I just had to take a guess, you're about to rip freaking faces, all right? How do you close this thing out? You close this thing out above the 59,313 level, the thing's about to rip faces, okay? We're coming back up to the high here at 63794 in a hurry. Next week, we might even be talking, okay? And at that point, you just hit a banger out of nowhere because you were just prepared, okay? You were just prepared. Weekly time frame on these things, they don't look the best. They look like consolidation could be coming. We could be ranging out here. But, you know, as I pointed out in Friday's video, coin, when it gaps down, it has a positive reaction, then you close the gap intraday and you close out with a green candlestick. I think it was out of 18 times, 17 of them resulted in, you know, that next $5 to $10 move, like within days. Okay. The only time we didn't have that was somewhere over here. There was a spot, I swear, and it was somewhere right over here that I saw it where that wasn't the case. Right here, okay? You gapped down, you got back up, okay? Closed the gap, closed out with the green candlestick. And what happened? You didn't get the continuation of the $5 to $10 like you do. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here, okay? You gap down, you close the gap, you close out just like we just closed out. Increasing volume, that's a great look. Just like over here, same thing. Next day, you got that quick. That was an $18 move the next day, right? A lot of these times, you're going to get over that $5 to $10 move I speak of, okay? You are. But a lot of the time, if you just want to be safe, you could look for that $5 to $10 move. There's that. Regardless, that's how we just closed out, guys. That is how we closed out. If you guys want to see another example, what happened over here? You gap down, you close the gap. What happened the next day from that close? You were up 20 freaking bucks. All right. So these are the conditions that I like to do during my back test. All right. Right here, you actually did not get that. All right. Maybe this was the one I was speaking of. I don't know. I could have swore I only, maybe it was 2 out of those 18. Okay. This is probably what I was just talking about. But I did find this other one over here. So there, where was that? That was right here. You gap down, you closed it. I missed one. Okay. All right. 2 out of those 18 did not pan out. Boom, boom, boom. Regardless, you have 16 out of 18 occurrences resulting in this. Yeah, see, $5 to $10 move. Next day, $5 to $10 move. Next day, $5 to $10 move. Next day. All right. Next 2 days, $5 to $10 move. You guys see what I see. Okay. I like what I'm saying. Coin though came down to the 0.786 fib, closed out with heavy volume on the day. Big, wide range bar right there. $15 move, 6-7% move. All right. I think you're probably going to run back up the high over here, but the levels I would be paying attention to is above 225.76. You watch for 234.23 above there, 239.53 above there, 248.64. All right, so that's that. We got Mara over here, guys. Call it a comeback. You want to just take the golden pocket from there to there. You did find buyers right at the 0.786 fib. Little tool you could be using, okay? Just another thing I will point out, guys, the 15-minute RSI, when this thing is oversold, okay, typically close to a bounce. When it's overbought, don't buy and wait for your pullback. That is one thing I have learned from these miners. When you have the 15-minute bearish divergence or this thing is overbought, you just don't buy. You wait for your pullback, all right? It doesn't matter how parabolic you think this thing is about to go. Just wait for the pullback. It's going to come. The thing started getting overbought right here. You went up here, and you came right back there in the RSI reset, and then you could have played it for another move. And what happened? You came back again. Once it was oversold or overbought again, you would have taken your profits, right? Because like I said earlier, you get ready for these opportunities. You don't know what's going to happen when things, you're seeing things, you take things. So you're ready for that next opportunity. What happened? You got another chance to run it back because it got into oversold territory again. And then it went into overbought territory and you got to play an extra, all right, an extra 9% move right there. All right, guys. So if you see 15-minute RSI overbought, just wait for the pullback, guys. They typically always come here on CLSK and Mara. That is what I've seen through my experience. So there's that. All right, last one we will close out here with Bitcoin. Going to be this bad boy right over here. MicroStrategy, Mester. The Mester. But the MicroStrategy, guys, this thing does have that going on that draws my. We have that going on that draws my. So we have that downtrend going on. If you just hit control there, you can see you have a parallel channel going on here. You break out from this one, you probably have a straight shot up to this resistance right here, and right above that, you're going to have that. So I could see something like that. But in reality, guys, same exact look to coin, increasing volume on this, you had a positive reaction to the gap down, close that gap. If I had to take a guess, you're going to at least retest 1325.54. Above 1325.54, though, you have absolutely nothing until you get back up here. If I had to point out some minor resistance here, you can have right there, okay? So above 1325.54, you're looking for 1,442 bucks. Above 1,442, you look for 1,528. All right, and quite frankly, I could see that play out. I could also see this play out right there. I could see something like that. We'll see how quick the price really decides to move. All right, I could see this could be a potential path right here, right here. All right, so that is that. Now, for all of my trade ideas, we're at the 54-minute mark. We're going to hit it with a speed round through 25 freaking tickers. Let's do it. We're going to kick it off with Netflix, guys. Fresh breakout, increasing volume. I understand you got the upper wick there. Dips are buying opportunities. This move is about to take place up to $701. $799 is the previous all-time high. The FIBX, the last target on my fib extensions that I'm paying attention to for this recent move is 702. I think that is about to be hit this week. And on the weekly chart, this thing looks like, yeah, same concept I was telling you guys about. All right. My charts look clean because I chart off of the structure. Okay. When you see things like this, you just mark them. All right. And they do you favors. Okay. This thing broke up from that bull pennant, had this next leg up. You then came back to retest where you had the next leg up from. And it looks like you're about to do the same exact thing. I really like the setup over here. SQ, however, amazing set. Amazing, all right? You got the increasing volume down there. Fresh breakout off of that increasing volume and a bullish engulfing candlestick over here on Friday to close out the week. Closing out strong. Nice hammer candlestick on the weekly time frame. Even with the 1.5 less days, you almost have, if you had that, you would have increasing volume here. I like the look of that. I'm just going to say right now, though, you have a downtrend over 3 months, okay? 3 months, 3.3 months you've been downtrending here. You are now breaking out of that downtrend, okay? In reality, yes, it's a falling wedge, but this right here, the psychology of this, you just have a downtrend, okay? I understand falling wedge, cool pattern, okay? Cool pattern. Consolidation, it coils up in the end. You get to the apex, which is over here, and you start to break out as things get real tight. All right. Guess what? Above 66.96, 66.96. You have a straight shot up to 69.57. Above 69.57, 73.55. My target for this trade here is going to be 73.55. Mark it if you want. Mark it if you don't want. I don't care. That is that. Moving forward, guys. This is sexy. All right. Top watch right now. GS over here. We called it out the other day. All right, had a bull flag. I'm not going to say I'm going to trade anything like this. This thing is just busting up to new highs here. Yes, it has a set, but yeah, busting up to new highs nonetheless. This thing does look like it's getting ready for another explosion over here, though. Probably something like that, which we called out and did not freaking play. All right, I tried playing down here, and I got out right before the thing freaking took off like a rocket ship. It took off like a freaking rocket ship. There you go. It was right over here. I started looking at this guy. All right. Regardless, guys, you're probably about to have another one. Break and retest off the top of that pennant. Carvana, guys, this is a trade idea that I'll update from the other day. Okay. I called it out right over here, I believe. I thought you were just probably going to base over here or come down to 115. Either way, I think you get some upside after this consolidation period is done with. You got the pullback off of very low volume compared to this breakout candlestick with a hammer candlestick, and you broke and retest off where you broke out from. I think this thing is about to have another move up, and that's just my opinion. All right, but that is that. SOFI, it's loading. We actually have a stock that reminds me of this that we'll talk about that we haven't talked about in so long. We'll make it the next one just because we haven't talked about in so long. All right, but SOFI, guys, it's getting ready for an explosion. All right, I feel it. I had a feeling that I was going to be trolled if I just sat in cons a few weeks back. All right. And, looking forward, guess what? I would have been trolled. I would have been trolled. It's done nothing. All right. I understand you have this big reversal setup, but we need a breakout for that to actually become the case. If you want to buy dated cons while it's in here in this consolidation, you're going to get the best possible price. I promise. All right. I promise you're going to get the best possible price if you're buying down here. But if you want to wait to ride that momentum, you're going to wait on that breakout. Okay. This is like, it looks like half a year at least. 200 days, guys. We have pretty much, we're going to say 2/3, yeah, almost 2/3. Okay, it's really like what, 3/5 of a year we've had go by here. 3/5 of a freaking year you've been in this fallen wedge / downtrend here. You've been downtrending. What happens if you break that? Explosions are going to happen. All right, I'm telling you, the thing is basing out right now, and the next move above 661 very well could just bring this breakout. So put it on your radar. Mark it if you want to. Put your alert on. And yeah, let's make some coin over here in SOFI when the thing goes. There's that. ROKU, this is the next one that I was saying. We haven't been talking about it for a while, but we're going to talk about it right now because it's doing some things, okay? I understand there's that. ROKU likes to get going, and once it gets going, it keeps having these pullbacks and then legs up. I think this thing's probably consolidating here before this next move up. All right. Am I going to play it? Probably not. Probably not. All right. It's not the setup that I usually go for. It's just not. All right. I don't like the fact that daily RSI is all the way up here. Okay. But you are going to be, you know, sitting over here. And I'm going to add that to the list. I just realized that's a clean setup that's actually like this that I am definitely playing. So, you know, I guess I can't discriminate. Nah, I mean, let's look at it this way, guys. There's strong companies that, like buyers are going to be present, and the setups, usually when you see the setups, that's just the charts predicting the news. That's just the buyers really getting ready to pounce. And then there's things like this ticker I'm showing you right now, where it's like, no, all right, they will let it keep dying. It doesn't matter how many bullish setups you have, they will let it keep dying if the fundamentals don't catch up to the company. I know that looks sloppy. The magnet is on. That's an inverse head and shoulders pattern that I was watching back in the day. And then you did that and then went like that. All right. Some of these things you just avoid until they really reverse on you. And that is, this thing is starting to show the reversal signs that they're really reversing on us. All right. So, you know, you got earnings right around the corner. Last one didn't do much. Last one before that killed it. The one before that, you missed on earnings and still exploded. I think we probably have an explosion around the corner. I'm just going to say, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this consolidate in between 66.75 and 60.43 heading into earnings. So put it on your radar if you want. I think it's getting ready though. Fresh downtrend / parallel channel break. Okay. On the upside, above 63.21, you're watching 66.75. Above there, 71. Above there, 81.80. That's that. Shop. All right. I like how this weekly candlestick closed. No, it does not have increasing volume, but again, 1.5 days less. That is okay. Weekly downtrend break. You just got it with this touch point, that touch point, and then you have this little guy right over here on last week's candle. But now you've closed above that with the hammer candlestick. And the daily time frame, this is where I really like the setup. Okay. Right here, guys. Take off that downtrend here. You have the bull flag breakout off of increasing volume, off the break and retest. Blue stalled out here, resistance. You get above that resistance though, 68.02. You get above that. You have a clean shot at just coming up to 69.57. And then above there, take profit levels would consist of 72.08 and 74.59. That is that. Tesla. All right. Tesla has been going crazy. Okay. You see where that arrow is? Okay. That's what this thing reminds me of. Heavy volume, big wide body bar. That's a 33% move. This is a 27% move. It's been a while since we've seen these moves out of Tessie. Okay. We're seeing them. I think you get some further upside. This week over here, you had a 15% pullback, 8.50%. Okay. 8.5%. I'm brain dead at the end of this hour-long video, guys. I get tired too. It's okay. We're gonna keep going. We persist for our tiredness, and we go. Okay. You had an 8.5% pullback, followed by a move to close up the week. All right, 7%. At a high, you went up to 11.86%. From the bottom to the top, you had a 20% range. Imagine pulling back here. 230, retesting this freaking trend line, and then still closing up like that. All right, and testing 265, 13 resistance. Maybe you get a weekly close above it, and it sets you up to go even higher. This thing's looking freaking spicy. All right, am I going to advise? Again, no financial advice will be given on this channel. But would I give advice to myself to buy this fresh weekly breakout? No. No, I would not. Yes, I do think it goes higher from here. But I will show you guys plenty of setups that don't involve taking this much risk on. And that's that. Okay. They'll be here on the channel. If you're in the Discord, for a fact, you're going to have, a consistent flow of those coming in. Consistently. Every single week, you will have setups that do not involve you taking this much risk. Guaranteed on the focus list. Trade ideas tab. There's even more. Okay. But I'm just going to tell you, even here on YouTube, I give you so many trade ideas that you don't need to take on this aggressive setup. The aggressive setup, I understand, you got a really big downtrend break here, guys. That is a 3-month or not 3-month, almost 3-year downtrend break. Okay, you give it another 150 days, you're at the 3-year mark. All right, this thing's probably going for a freaking ride. And if I had to take a guess, all right, 265.13 coming next week. All right, if I had to take a guess over the next 1 to 2 months, 313.61 coming. All right, I was telling you guys all about this setup, and I did not take advantage of it. I will be completely honest. All right, instead, you know, somewhere along this, I don't remember where it was. Somewhere in all of this mess, I had 2 to 3 losing Tesla trades. And I decided to scratch it off the list. It was like, you know, I'm going to keep, you know, charting it and stuff for the channel. But I'm not going to be trading it. And it's not going on my focus list because, you know, I don't trust trading it. Well, look at that. I wrote it off during the time period that was the accumulation period right before it exploded. So there was that. Congrats if you caught the explosion. But, you know, if you held through this, you're up so much money right now. Take your profit. Okay, no financial advice, but take your profit. There's no reason not to. You're up a lot of freaking money. It doesn't matter how much you had. If you actually held through that move and you had options on that move, all right, doesn't matter what expiration. You're up a lot of money. I know you are. If you had time on those contracts, you had to pay a lot of money for them. So I know you have money in the position there. Okay, and then you still probably saw like let's look at it this way. This is a $50 move. Okay. If you had July 19 cons, all right, guys, you just caught like well over 1,000%, well over 1,000% just on this week alone. Now you caught that breakout. Oh, that's even more money. That's even more. You're probably up thousands of percents now that I think about it with 3 weeks on the expiration. All right. But you know, you had 3 months on the expiration. You're still probably up 200-300%. Probably more. This is a parabolic move that's going to spike these premiums like never seen before. This is craziness. All right. Tesla's going higher. That's what I'm going to close it out with. All right. I'm not going to keep beating around the bush here. This thing just broke out from like 2 point, you know, we're going to say 2.5 years of downtrend. Massive inverse head and shoulders pattern as well here. Okay. Massive. The thing just broke out. Just broke out. Just now. The thing's probably coming back up here. All right. So here are my like full and honest thoughts on Tesla. It's honestly probably coming back up to 414.50 in the end. That's where I think this thing is headed. All right. Monthly chart. Holy sweet baby Jesus. This is how it's shaping up. Okay. The thing looks ready to go. I understand all of these times you found a lower high and you did that. But if you can take out this high right here, that's not going to happen this time. The tides have changed. You're going to be in an uptrend again. Okay? Not the downtrend. Not the downtrend. If you take out this high right here, which, you know, I'm not going to mark it. I will mark it because that's the one that's really important to us. 299.29. We will know there's 313 resistance right there. Okay, it was 314.67. But in reality, 299.29. You take this out, you have switched the weekly trend from bearish to bullish. You will have a higher low followed by a higher high. Then this thing's coming to take out 414.50. Honest thoughts on Tessie. Okay, 1 hour and 8-minute video. Insane, insane. All right, Dom hitting it with the break and retest. Dom, I meant Zom. Hitting it with the break and retest. You saw that arrow. I drew that literally on this day right here. Okay. Came up to the trend line, found rejection. You came back. And now what do you have? All right. You got an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Okay. So, you know, you got that. You got that. It's looking really juicy in my personal opinion. This thing could be your buying opportunity. See that. You know, go like that. And if we're really just going to come over to crude, all right, this thing, you know, I know it's just consolidating here. And I know you find sellers right now. But after this pullback is done, I think this thing's probably going to get bought up. I'm just going to put it out there. So August expiration on oil stocks calls are in play. Okay, they're on the menu, we're going to say. They're on the menu. Over here, retest of 81.90. All right, that is where you expect buyers. And then from there, we probably do retest up here. If you don't, that's a negative sign. All right. If you do something like take off that freaking magnet. you do something like that and you revisit this level, not a good sign at all. All right. But if you just pull back here and then revisit this level, that's a great sign. You're probably about to break up. All right. And from there, you're even coming up here to 85.64. Mark that. 85.64. But that's guys. Break and retest. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. Oxy. The next one we will pay attention to right here. Coming in for the break and retest. You got the golden pocket right down below. Somewhere in here, I think buyers are going to step in. You're going to get a next move up. Next wave. There's that. TLT, guys, congrats if you played this one alongside me. All right. This was a nice one of those safer, ones. I played them with the August cons. I'm just going to say, guys, fundamentals can have their play in things, but in reality, technicals will always give you the edge. That is how it is. There's no edge to fundamentals. Don't follow them. Okay? Like, I'm serious. You're going to cloud your brain. You don't need to do that when you're trading and you have your money on the line. You don't need to do that. Okay? Over time, you're going to see that technicals, those are what pay. Those are what have the patterns that you can consistently play. All right? When you have a bunch of these patterns all aligning all at once, and you've had the experience where you're like, I've seen this before. You pull your trigger, you take your shot. All right? Right here was that shot. You caught a bounce. 3 back-to-back-to-back gap up days from this, what probably many people thought was a bearish thing. All right, you came back in the 0.786 fib. You had the 4-hour RSI sitting all the way down here where you had your last bounce. Literally the same exact spot. Found buyers, okay? And yeah, from there it was off the races. But the big kicker here was, guys, you had 5 months. 5 months of downtrend get retested. That is going to result in buying pressure 9 out of 10 times. 5 months. It's a strict, just like clear as day. You could see it on the chart, the psychology. All right. You have sellers step in. You have sellers step in. You have sellers step in. Sellers. All right. They tried it and then they gapped you up and boom, you retested and you went off the races. This is the second retest. I can't tell you if you come out to take out this high again because it's the second retest. All right. You return back to where you launched up from. It's not bullish at that point. What I can tell you is you're probably going to get buyers in that bounce 9 out of 10 times. And now we look for sellers here. You know why this TP3 is right where it is? Because this is where the golden pocket would be. I never look for a full retracement on these style moves. When you came down here, you took out this last low. That's not the best look, all right? What I do is have reasonable take profit levels here that I think will be hit on the dead cat bounce. Yes, I said dead cat bounce. I don't know if this is going to go all the way up here. I don't. What I do know is that this dead cat bounce was very likely, and now it happened. And now we look for sellers right here. That's my thought on TLT. Between 93 and 93.75, you expect sellers. Cat with the inverse head and shoulders pattern. All right, move up, loading. Okay, you're basing out. I think it's getting ready. You get some love on DIA. This thing's going to have upward pressure. You get some, love on this. DIA is going to have some upward pressure, okay? It's looking nice. It's looking real nice. I think you're just basing out here. If you can get above this 335.17 level, that is when things get spicy. That is when you have a straight shot up to 341.40 and then 349.61. If I had to take a guess, this move will happen all in the same week. That is your play on, 1 to 2 week all options. There you go. BA. Another thing that looks like it's just basing out. You got this low, you have a high, you have a higher low, a higher high. So far, you have a higher low here. Are we going to get a higher high? We don't know. Okay, but what I can tell you is it looks like we probably are. All right, you're having buyers give you a bullish look here. All right, you're getting buyers stepping in over here on the daily 9. I understand you've been in Chop City for quite some time, but at some point you're actually going to get a trending move out of BA over here. I think that could be right around the corner, so we're going to start paying attention to it. All right, you crack this trend line. This is a while. Okay, this is a while. That is the same thing I just showed you over on TLT. This is that 5-month downtrend. Okay, and it happens to look like an inverse head and shoulders. You have a right shoulder, you have a head. All right, you got a left shoulder that's like pretty sloppy. Regardless, it's the same thing. All right, it probably leads to some upward prices. That's that. If you could break above it, first target right away would be 197.14. That's a decent freaking move. All right. And if I had to put a level on this, like a trigger level, it'd be right here. All right. You take out 189.47, you probably get a straight shot up to 197.14. Above there, the levels I would be really paying attention to are going to be 203.73. And then if things really get nuts, 208.10. That's that. Of course, it's all the way up here if things are really going to go berserker. But like I just, went over, I don't like to, ask for the world. I just want a little slice of the pie, and I'll be happy with that. I actually, I just want everyone to know how simple it is. Okay, I just broke it down for myself. How do you make, all right, 5K a month off of, options, off of 5 trades each month? I know for a fact I have well over 5 trades each month, and I get decent returns on most of these. But I hit that 20 to 30% mark on just about every single one of them. All right, if something's going to go red on me and stuff like that, I typically will hit that 20 30% mark. So let's look at it this way. You want $1,000 to come in. We're going to break down this math just so we all can really simply understand. $1,000 coming in each month. You need 5 trades, gaining 20% at $1,000 position size in each of those trades. Okay? You need 5 of those. That is 5K total capital. All right? 1K each trade, 20% on each trade. You then have $1,000 coming in each month because $200 off of each trade. Well, what happens if you want to get to $2,000? You just double your position sizing. You do the same exact thing. You scale out at that 20% mark, each one of those trades, okay? Right off the bat, now each one's bringing in $400. You want the 3,000, okay? Just make your position sizing 3,000. Again, you're going to need your account size to go up, so the position sizing can go up, all right? These are levels, but it is as simple as that. You want a 5K per month, safely trading options, all right? And now keep in mind, you got to get the experience so you can know what to look for, so you can know your setups, so you can actually pull your triggers throughout the month. You need that part of the equation, all right? But once you know that you break down the math super simple, just like we're doing right here. And guess what? You want 5K a month coming in. You want 5 times 12. You want 60K from the market coming in strictly off of your trading. 5K each month, options trading, $5,000 position sizes, all right? Account size, you want to be, around $50,000, okay? And then each trade could be, $5,000. That is not so much of your account. There you go. All right. And again, you can do that on the list of the 5 stocks. You can go test out your own stuff. I promise. That was 5 stocks I pointed out earlier. NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta. Those ones are extremely clean. And if I can find 3 setups to consistently see month after month on those tickers, every single one of them, every single month, if I can find them, I know you can find them. Go find them. There's that. There's a bunch of other tickers. Those are just the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. But yeah, 5K a month, $5,000 position sizing. You look for that 20% mark. There's your $1,000 per trade. 1,000 times the 5. You're at 5K per month. Do you want 10K a month? You want to have 100K income from your trading. What is going to be the requirement? Break it down. Don't shoot for the moon. All right. Like you're obviously over time, you're shooting for the moon, but don't think you're just going to have a $10,000 account and you're going to bring in $100,000 a year. It's not going to work like that. You got to work it up. So the math is, okay, you now need a position size of $10,000 per trade. Per trade. Can you find 5 setups to return 20% every single month in a safe manner? Can you do that? Okay. That means, all right, give yourself a 100K account. Each trade, you're going to be using 10% of that account, all right, on there. And there you go, all right? Now, I'm just speaking of, this is, with me, what I'd be comfortable with, okay? I'm comfortable with 5 to 10% on the freaking, on each position size. you know, I know myself at this point. I know my setups at this point. I don't know what kind of trading you do. I don't know if you're a short-term trader, if you're a swing trader like me. I have absolutely no idea. But I make sure I'm safe on my contracts. All right? But that is the math, all right? Sorry for that little rant, okay? But, you know, I think it will benefit some people out there just changing that perspective. It's something that just clicked on how easy it is to bring in the 5K per month just consistently trading. I was just like, you know, I shoot for the moon a lot of the times, but in reality, I can do exactly that. And it would be really easy. It was just a flip that switch this morning. I was like, holy crap, let me just break down the math behind this. I can get there pretty quick. Like, it's not, you know, like, you know, it's going to be very different, okay? Having position sizing that much and just scaling out of the 20% mark, it's going to be very different. But I'm pretty confident I could find that every single month. Just 5 trades doing that exact same thing. I'm pretty confident I could do it. All right, so we're going to see how it goes, all right? Over coming months, it's going to be a fun time. There's that, guys, all right? Moving on. I'm sorry I took so much time over here on BA. All right, SBUX, all right? It was a trade idea that we pitched to you on this uptrend break, and we were aiming for the golden pocket. What happened? All right, you broke under the support. Trade idea activated, triggered there, or you could have taken off the retest right over here. I gave you 2 of these things. It was when we broke down right here. I was saying retest of this, and then we ended up building out the range. Then I gave you that. All right, guess what? Now it's time to run it back to the upside. Okay, putting it out there. Hammer candlestick, increasing volume, right around 0.618 fib. Thing looks like it is probably going to be playing a little recovery, and if it does decide to bounce, all right, you reclaim the 76.83 level. From there, guys, you got a pretty clear shot at 79.18. You could quite frankly just come up, retest this downtrend right here, maybe break out of the downtrend, but even if you don't, it's probably going to be right around that 79.18 level. And yeah, that is, you know, there's your profits there. But, you know, if buyers are going to step in, you're bullish on SBUX, golden pocket is where you want to be taking that long position right there. Get ready for the downtrend break. Maybe you play it up to 80.99, and maybe, if you're lucky, 83.23 again. J&J, all right? Falling wedge, bullish falling wedge, hourly time frame, just got the breakout. All right, does not look bad to me. This thing looks like it's getting ready to ascend back up. Okay, you have, you know, big consolidation period going on here. What is this, like 3 weeks? It's 40 days, it's 6 weeks. Double the time, man. Double the time. Hammer candlestick off increasing volume off the bottom of that range. You're probably about to return to the top of the range, and if you can break out, I think we're probably going to revisit this golden pocket up there. You're going to revisit this this little brief little uptrend that you respected over there. I mean, you potentially could be having that ride. All right. I don't recommend trading J&J, but I definitely found it on my scan this morning, and I like it. All right. IBM. If you're not new to the channel, then you know about Mr. IBM over here, right? You played it with us, maybe. Okay? I think this thing is finally going to head up to 180.88. I think it is, all right? So hit the TPs for all of these, you know, the shorter term trade right there. But in the end, guys, 180.88 was the clear level. Once you know, broke up from here and got above this level right here, 174.97, that's the clear level that, you know, there's nothing standing between here and here. Well, you've been doing a whole lot of structure building over here, and it looks like you're getting ready for the move up there. I think that probably comes this week. So put it on the radar if you'd like. There's that. This, guys, a long time coming. We've been waiting really freaking patiently for this one. Really patiently. And I saw some big Twitter guys starting to jump the gun on this one. Guess what, guys? I will do my best to not jump the gun, and we will remain patient here on this channel. Printing the hammer candlestick, pretty close to that 0.618 fib, right around their 96.51 breakout level. I do think that will be tested before earnings, and I will take a decently heavy position over here on Disney. I do think this, for me, I know there's whales out there. I know some of you guys be taking, like, you know, 50K positions out of nowhere. I know, all right? Some of y'all are whales. I'll be with you eventually. Don't worry. Don't worry, guy. I'll be there. I'll be a big boy with you. Regardless, guys, Disney off 96.51. I like it. The daily RSI should be oversold at that point. And quite frankly, guys, this thing is the exact retest entry that we were waiting on for so long. This 4-hour RSI is going to be dancing around oversold territory if this happens, okay? This is going to be sexy if we get it, all right? Sexy. And quite frankly, Magic catching that, Magic catching that. And if things are real nuts off earnings, imagine catching that. I think that's what's potentially loading here. That's just, what I see. And, I could be blind. Okay. You also got something like that loading up. You got something like that. Ooh, look at that, baby. Ooh, look at that. Fallen wedge into the retest, into the golden pocket. I freaking love it. IREN, if you want something with strength, then this is going to be the ticker for you. Above 1495, 1797 is incoming in the short term. Probably takes 2 days to get up there. That is a 20% move. We know it's possible with this ticker. All right, this is one we called out way over here. Do I wish I played things like there's so many things we call out that I just wish I just, let me throw a few grand 2 months out and just let it just print. All right. This is one of those things that we saw so freaking early into this, and like I didn't take any action. It was literally right off here off this first breakout, I'm pretty sure. And then it does this. All right. And these things, yeah, guys, I've seen these tickers before, all right, where they just want to keep running. And this is like an arm. All right. This is one where, it pulls back, then it wants to just keep running. All right. What you know about that arm? Things looking juicy. So above 1495, 1797 incoming. ULTA, just basing out down here along your demand zone. Weekly RSI still, sitting around oversold territory. Clearly got this big old range going on here. You have not, gotten above here and gotten a close above this high in 45 days, guys. Okay. This thing's getting ready above 399.18. We look for 411.60 in the short term. Up there, guys. All right. Got a few spots that really stand out to me. Up 411.60, 422.10, and then 439.98 above there. INTC, it's starting, guys. It's starting to reverse. Okay. It's time. It's actually freaking time. This thing, INTC right here, has increasing volume. You did find sellers in the supply zone, but I want to point out this weekly chart. This thing is setting up to reverse. All right, so we're going to talk about it. Quite frankly, guys, short term, I think 3408 could be tested, this gap. Okay, complete gap in price. There's nothing going on here. I think it's probably going to get tested in the short term, 1 to 2 weeks out. Just a hunch. Okay, just a hunch. Regardless, it is starting to turn. Has a lot of room to run if it does decide to run. We already talked about this one. OKTA, this is one that has this descending, channel right here. The ticker request over on Twitter. I like it. All right. Yes, I do think 99.47 is coming, and you'd probably get sellers stepping in there. But I think this is setting up for a larger reversal, and that's that. PayPal, I think you got a big impulsive move coming right around the corner. Okay. I think that is you're probably gonna have a day like that, day like that, day like that. I think it's right around the corner. Just my opinion with how things are looking. But yeah, I like the setup right here. You're coming down into your demand / your support right there. Last support. Guess what? Found buyers. You actually had 2 supports you bounced off of down here. All right, right here you could see that is exactly which actually that's going to show our demand zone. It's literally going to show that perfectly. Reality, guys, all demand zone is like, where these wicks are. That's where you should have the wicks. That's where price should try and test it. And then by the end of the day, if that's the reaction spot, you shouldn't be closing the candle in that demand zone. You see? Wick, reaction, wick. That's that. That's a solid zone right there. I like it. All right, guys. So that's PayPal. ONON. ONON. Fresh break and retest. Daily RSI is oversold. I'm not going to call it the biggest mover over here, but I'm guessing, I haven't looked at premiums, but I'm guessing these are pretty unjuiced. They're pretty flat. And if you do get a decent move, sparking up like that, you probably get those things, you know, pumping up pretty heavily right there. Just an idea for you. All right, break and retest, hammer candlestick. Don't like that there's decreasing volume, but we'll let it slide. It's okay. You break that downtrend, okay? You're probably going to get above 3819. You get above 3819, you will have a move back above that daily 9 EMA to show that short-term momentum is shifting. And above there, we probably see 40.35 pretty quick. And that's that. PANW. This thing is doing the same thing it did over here. You know, I think it's just a matter of time until you start pushing up further to this 347.99 area right there. But I am just going to point out, all right, you're going to have that level to pay attention to right there. All right, so I like my red levels. I don't like these gray levels so much. I use them when I gotta. Give me my red. Give me my red. Okay, guys, red dead. Above there, guys, above 336.57, it is basing, and it's getting ready for a move to 348 and then 353.81. In my personal opinion, you could see on the weekly chart. Okay, I understand you know, consolidated a little this week after last week's big move up. I think we probably have another big move up right around the corner. So that's what I'm getting ready for over here on PANW. Pretty sexy to me. All right, guys, and that is all I have for you today at the 1 hour and 31 minute mark. Thank you for spending so much time with me today. I will have the whatever they're called down in the description below, the little timestamps, so people can skip throughout these videos. I know I didn't tell you guys at the beginning, but you will see them because they will be here. Okay, just give me like 5-10 minutes to actually those timestamps, they take like half an hour, 30 to 40 minutes on a big video like this to really go through my own video and just, you know, pick out exact spots where I'm switching tickers. There's that. All right, guys, with that being said, feel free to check out the links below if you want to come trade with me. If you are a SPY QQ or you trade NQ or ES futures trader, I think there's, you know, large benefit there for you. There's that. And then also the Twitter, guys. Go check out the Twitter. You're going to like it over there. That being said, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.